my lovely friends. Welcome to China, or welcome back from my journey of last year. As always, let me know if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay. I see that my dad, Gordon McLeod, and our lovely cousin Donna Lynn are in the chat. Thank you for coming out, guys. Hope you are doing well. We have Barry from Sydney, Australia. Steve McLeod with the same spelling as us, maybe long lost relatives. Hello. Irvin, hello. Alex, Melissa, fantastic. Great to see you guys. And Jim Ross in the chat. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you so much for the PayPal, Jim. Hope you are doing great. Jim's comment is here. I don't know where in Beijing you're going to take us on this walk and talk. The Forbidden City. Well, it is forbidden unless you bought a ticket. I guess it's really the pay-per-view city now. Yes, so I'm gonna try and show you as much as I can today, but as I will explain, and maybe you can even see kind of behind me, this is kind of the intersection of Wangfujing, which we will walk on, but it's, oh no, I forgot the name, Yichang'an. Yeah, Yichang'an, I think, is the boulevard going this way. And if you go to my left, you will reach Tiananmen Square, and then the southern part of the Forbidden City. Now, we could walk this way a little bit. We wouldn't unfortunately get to see a lot, because before you get into Tiananmen Square and the Forbidden City, not only do you need a reservation, but there are like 4 different police checks. There is so much security in this city, especially when you're going into, you know, any sort of important attractions. So unfortunately with this live stream, and because I don't have a reservation today, we wouldn't be able to do it. But what we are going to do instead is I'm going to take you on the northern edge of the Forbidden City so you can kind of see the outside of it. I actually went inside of it yesterday, which was really, really cool, and you'll get to see that in my video. But yeah, it's a whole process to like get tickets and go through security. So unfortunately, we won't be able to like go inside on this live stream. Oh, we got Zach from Dublin. Привет. Whispered Time says, good to see you from Toronto. What eSIM are you using to stream? So I use the same eSIM that I used last time, and who is actually one of my main sponsors, which is Aerolo. Use the code Alina3. And yeah, they are amazing for when you just like land in China. You just get the eSIM beforehand and you have data right away, and you don't need a VPN because it pins you as outside of China. So that's really, really nice. So for anybody wondering, and I assume there's probably some people in the chat who don't know this. So all of our regular internet, like not everything, but most of the sites, especially like the social media sites, you know, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that is blocked here in China, right? So you have to have a VPN, and a VPN that works, because not all of them do. Yeah, you have to get a VPN if you're not going to have like an eSIM, or you have an eSIM that pins you as outside of the country. One second, guys. So that's something very important to know. You wouldn't want to like book a trip here for 2 to 3 weeks thinking that, oh, you'll be able to access the internet as normal without any additional things, and then you land here and you have no contact to the outside world. Because you can't, I don't think, then get a VPN or an eSIM once you're already here. So, FYI. We have Norman from Southern California, Percy from New Zealand, Drake from Lviv, amazing, hello, Dancio from Copenhagen, and Yelena and Boris from New Jersey, some fellow Ukrainians, amazing, fabulous. All right, guys, so what we are going to do is I'm just gonna flip the camera here in 1 second. And I'm going to give you a view of what I am seeing. This is the intersection I was talking about, Wangfujing and Yichang'an Avenue. So yeah, if you just go all the way that way, you will reach the entrance of Tiananmen Square, which is, you know, I think it's the largest public square in the world. It was made bigger 4 different times. So yeah, it's pretty, you know, majestic when you go there. And they also have the National Museum of China there, which I sadly didn't have enough time for yesterday, but that's also, you know, a big attraction. And then most people, if they're going to Tiananmen Square, that's also where they're entering the Forbidden City. But of course, you can just go to the Forbidden City itself. And as you can see, like that little outpost there, that's the security I was talking about. There's like 4 or 5 different places like that as you're going there. And you have to have your passport on you. Like that's something really important for anywhere in China, is that almost anytime you're going to any of the big main attractions, you actually have to have your like physical passport on you. You can't just have like a photocopy or something like that, or a picture on your phone. You have to have your actual passport on you. So keep that in mind, because if you don't have it, you will not be able to enter. And a lot of times your ticket actually just gets tied to your passport number. If you're smart enough and can translate how to book things like online, because not all platforms have a translation on there, it just gets connected to your passport number, so you don't have any kind of ticket or anything, or they'll give you like a QR code or something. That's usually what happens with most of the attractions. Thank you so much to PK4420. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. You guys are great. And then just a little update, because as you can see, like, you know, I do have, you're able to send me super chats on here. So for anybody asking about like my whole monetization debacle with YouTube, so the good news is that the ads are back on my channel. So like my account is accumulating money again, but I still will have to wait until I get back from China to hopefully come home to a physical letter in the mail with my PIN code, and then be able to verify my account. So basically this month I'm not getting paid from YouTube, but hopefully by next month I will have access to it. So that's just an update for anybody who's wondering with how that whole situation went down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back 2 to 3 videos and I explained it all there. But for the time being, things are relatively good. All right, let's flick back here. One of my first impressions of Beijing that really surprised me, considering, you know, this is the capital city, obviously, and it has a population of 22 million people. Like, it seems like an absurd number, right? More than half of the population of Canada in one city. I kind of expected it for it to be very dense, like very crowded and very narrow streets in a lot of places, or at least that's what I was expecting. But as you guys can see from this boulevard, but I mean many other places in the city, it's really not that dense. And second of all, like, a lot of the buildings really aren't that high. You know, we'll have to see how Shanghai is. I think Shanghai, you know, it's the business kind of city. This is more the political city. We'll see how Shanghai is. I think that will have a lot of like skyscrapers and stuff, maybe kind of similar to like what Chongqing is. But here, other than just the one business district that I've been to, I don't find it has that many high buildings. And it just doesn't seem like, I don't know, that fast paced or like that intense or anything. So that was a real surprise when coming to Beijing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Stan for not only coming out, but the very kind super chat. Bonjour, mon cher Mon cher, you look great and things are okay with me. Glad to hear your YouTube situation has worked out. Thank you so much, Stan. Yeah, it's, you know, not 100% done just yet, but you know, it's on the right track. And I knew moving to Bulgaria that it was something that I just had to go through the process of. So hopefully it will be fine, hoping for the best. But good to hear that you are doing well. Thank you so much. There's another comment from a Chinese name that sadly I cannot know the characters of, that says the population of several major cities in eastern China is over 10 million. Yeah, that's, I mean, crazy, right? All things considered, there's countries in Europe that have a population less than 10 million people, and here they have numerous cities over that amount. But I believe that the population of China as a whole, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like, is it 1.3 billion or something like that? Like, you know, an unfathomable number. So in that way, it makes sense that there's over like 10 million, you know, people in one city. Yao says, yeah, 1.5, 1.6 billion now. Oh my God, like that's incredible. So yeah, and Dancio says Bulgaria has a population of 6.5 million. Yeah, exactly. So it's like we are, oh, is my math good right now? We are 5. So we're about like, you know, 4.5. Bulgaria is 4.5 times smaller population wise than Beijing, right? Like it's just crazy. Oh, Doggy says make sure you also visit Suzhou when you go to Shanghai. It's a beautiful city with beautiful traditional Chinese gardens. So funny story about that. I'll tell you guys why I'm mainly here in just a minute, but after this main thing that I was going to do, I am going to meet my friend Bianca, who's, you know, Chinese, who lives here, and she was going to take me to that city, and we might still go for a day trip, but it sucks because the time that I'm free is when China has some really big like holidays, May 1st to 5th, and the hotels in that area are like almost sold out or like stupid expensive because I think a lot of people are, you know, vacationing there. So we'll try and probably go for a day trip from Shanghai. But yeah, I just landed that I'm literally here on like some Chinese holidays, and those can be really tricky to like travel in because everybody's traveling, and as we have been discussing, there's a lot of people here. So yeah, it's crazy. Okay guys, too much standing in one place. We got lots of ground to cover, so let's make our way down Wangfujing, which overall is a pedestrian street once we kind of cross this kind of intersection here. And I'm staying in a hotel actually fairly close to here, which has been really convenient. I'm able to, you know, walk all in this area, and I'm, you know, within a 30-minute walk of the main tourist attraction. So in a way, I would actually say that this has been a great area to stay in. I know there's like another section of the city, I think it starts with an S or something, that most of the foreigners stay and live in, but I just decided to go with this area, and so far it has been really good. Oh my goodness, thank you so much to Costas World of Music Memories. Hello Alina, how was your trip getting to Beijing? Harriet, Jim, and Yuki, happy Easter. Thank you so much guys, and happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to everyone, by the way. Yeah, my trip here was overall good. I'll have a whole vlog about it out this coming week actually. I just had one stop from like Sofia, Dubai, Beijing, so that was relatively nice. But as I was hoping wasn't going to be the case, but it was the case, I had really bad jet lag the past couple of days. Last night was actually the first night that I slept more than 4 or 5 hours. So hopefully now I'm on track. But yeah, as tends to be the case with me recently, I just I've been getting really bad jet lag with every international trip. So that was the only sort of negative. But thank you guys so much. I see another super chat here from Samuel. Thank you so much. Love your channel. You inspire me, and I'm planning a trip to Eastern Europe. My family has roots in Romania and Ukraine, but trying to book tours for other places too. Any plans for Mongolia for you? Great question. And thank you so much, Samuel. I hope you have a wonderful trip to Eastern Europe. Hope you have a great time. As far as Mongolia, 100% it's on my list. You know, technically right next door to China here. So I don't know, most likely, you know, it's not going to be this year, but in the following years, absolutely, it is on my list. It's supposed to be a very interesting country, but of course quite remote, right? Quite remote, other than Ulaanbaatar, their capital. So on my list. Let's see here. I'm gonna flip the camera back and just give you guys one more view of this area. And is there enough time to cross the street? Maybe. Oh, nope, no, it's actually coming down. So yeah, this is the start of the pedestrian side, as I was saying before. Here's Wangfujing Mall. Thomas says you need to do a fishing video in Bulgaria. Honestly, from years of attempts, I really suck at fishing, so I don't know how good that would be. Daring Northern Adventures asks, did I miss the length of the flight it took from Bulgaria to China? No, I didn't say the actual length, but it really wasn't that bad. Like Sofia to Dubai is a long enough flight. It's about 5 hours. And then I had a 6-hour layover in Dubai. And then it was 8 hours to Beijing. So 13... wait 11 and then okay 19 hours total, but then, you know, I was at the airport in Sofia a few hours earlier or whatever, so over 20 hours basically, 24 hours flight days. So that's how it goes. Iggy, why resolution only 720? Because YouTube throttles it to very low numbers, unfortunately. Somebody said that I should try a pixel extension or whatever to stream 1080, but I've had really bad experiences in the past with it where it just, like, I don't know, it didn't properly connect to YouTube and then it messed up my whole stream. So maybe I could try it again, and maybe that was just a weird error. But yeah, I would love to find a platform where I could actually like stream 1080 but have it connected, you know, still through YouTube, because, you know, my main audience is on here, so it would make sense that I stream from here directly. So here we are on the pedestrian street. For anybody wondering what time it is right now, it is about 9:20 right now. So in North America, or at least in Toronto, it's I think 9:20 p.m. We're exactly 12 hours difference. And that's why I was kind of on the fence of when I should stream. I thought that, oh, you know, maybe I should do it at night, because at night this street gets super busy, as you can guess, right? Like the malls are open late, the restaurants here are open late, so this street is way busier than it is right now on Sunday morning. But I wouldn't really be able to take you guys anywhere else, like you know, near the Forbidden City and all that. Just with the live stream, you wouldn't have very good visibility with it. So I just figured that it would be better to stream in the morning, your evening for Beijing. And then when I'm in Shanghai, I think it will be better to stream at night, North America's morning, because I think, yeah, Shanghai will have like really cool, you know, lights and like skyscrapers and stuff in the evening, which will just make more sense. So we're gonna have a little bit of both. Nitra says, snow is finally gone in Blaine Lake, 7:20 a.m. in Saskatchewan. Amazing, and thank you so much for coming out so early in the morning. It is crazy how, yeah, even in the end of April, there's parts of Canada that still frickin' have snow. It's just crazy. Whereas here, I actually regret wearing my trench coat over my linen shirt because I'm now actually starting to get a little bit warm. But sometimes in the mornings, it'll be, you know, like a little bit cool, like maybe 10 to 15 degrees. You kind of just need a light jacket. But in the afternoons, like even yesterday, I got a little bit of a suntan. It was about 25 degrees or something like that. So it was actually quite warm here. All things considered, though, what was I going to say? All things considered, it's actually really good weather right now, because imagine in 2 to 3 months, it's going to be like 30 to 40 degrees here in Beijing. So that's a little bit like too hot in my opinion. So the weather right now is really, really nice. Actually, as we are walking past here, first of all, really cute little dragon. But this mall is really, really nice. If you guys come here, WF Center, it rained a couple of days ago, so I spent like all day in here and it was fabulous. So highly recommend. Another mention, as you guys probably just saw some cleaning crews, you know, China really does good. They really do good at the cleanliness of their cities, because there's definitely a lot of like, you know, negative stereotypes that like, oh, China's like, you know, dirty or something like that. And of course, there's some districts that, you know, aren't this sparkling clean. But honestly, almost every city that I've went to in China, which is like over 6 or 7 now, I have been thoroughly impressed with the cleanliness of it, you know. And not only is it obviously people looking after themselves, but they just got cleaning crews like out here all the time. Like all the time you see, you know, street cleaners and stuff, or like big trucks coming down cleaning everything overnight. So I think that's really admirable, and I feel like a lot of places have kind of let that go by the wayside. So good on them for that. I think a few people asked in the comments, which VPN are you using? So with, yeah, the Airlo eSIM, you don't need to have a VPN, but if you know, did get like either a local SIM card, or let's say you want obviously internet on your computer when you use like Wi-Fi, because there is like free Wi-Fi everywhere, which is nice. I use primarily Let's VPN. That's what I used last time, and it worked great. And so far here, it has been working great. So 100% I recommend it. But what was surprising is that last time, my usual VPN, which is Surfshark, you know, didn't work anywhere. But I thought, hey, let me just like try it here, see if it works. And it took a couple of tries and adjusting a few things, but Surfshark worked here. So it worked in Beijing. You know, maybe it won't work in other cities. Sometimes it actually does range city to city. But, you know, it did work here in Beijing. So that was nice. But, yeah, Let's VPN is still the staple that I would recommend when coming to China. Night. Have you tried SaskTel? Yes, I have. I used to be with SaskTel when I lived in Saskatchewan. Doggy asks, were you surprised at how safe the streets of China are for solo female travelers? I'll flip the camera to answer that. Well, if you're referring to when I was here last time, yes and no, because in a way I expected that it was going to be kind of a safer country, so it wasn't like a shock. But once I was here, and you know, you see how many cameras there are, like especially here in Beijing, like it is wild. I think they have every angle of you like on camera if they wanted. And obviously when you get a visa to China, like they got all your biometrics, like they scan your face, they scan your fingerprints. I don't think there's any way around that. So if you're not comfortable with that, I don't think you can come to China. So they have all of your stuff. So obviously, you know, if they wanted to, the cameras can probably register your face everywhere. They can know exactly where you are. So yeah, you know, if you use that kind of technology for good, it's amazing. Like it's fabulous. Like, you know, I would feel totally safe walking around any area of the city at any hour of the night. So absolutely, it's fantastic as a solo female traveler. But you know, I get it, how some people aren't comfortable with that, and you know, you could use that for, I don't know, some negative things, but personally it doesn't bother me, and overall, yeah, I have no problem with it. So yeah, here in Beijing, like you will see cameras literally everywhere. And I think they're actually good cameras, because I swear, like with the TTC in Toronto, like they will have crimes happen. They will have it like, I don't know, sometimes on tape, but the quality is such shit that they're still asking like if anybody has information about like, you know, this person or something, like please let us know. Like, and it's like some, you know, terrible picture of the person too. It's not even a clear picture, and it's like, Jesus, can you like not get some, you know, proper cameras or something? Like I don't understand how we have such bad quality cameras for our security. Okay, we're gonna cross the street here. We got a big Huawei store right in front of us. And I actually checked out, you know, their phones yesterday actually, and they got some really unique sort of phones. You know, I remember looking at Huawei phones when they were actually still sold in Canada. Obviously now I don't think they're allowed to sell in Canada. And you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't that impressed when I kind of looked, especially at the cameras like of the phone. But now I went in store and I like checked out the camera function and stuff, and just how the screen looks. And you guys, like it was incredible. Like, you know, I'm obviously an iPhone girly, and this quality was incredible. So I actually don't know the price of it, but I will say their quality has definitely come up loads. So I wonder if they will ever be able to like come back to North America again. So that's kind of cool. Thank you so much to VN. Haven't seen you in a while. Hi Alina, I finally caught your live stream. It's been a while. I'm curious, and not to sound political, how has the tariff on China affected the economy so far, especially for travelers? First of all, thank you so much, VN. So good to see you. You know, personally, I'm probably not the best person to answer that kind of question, because I'm obviously not an economist, and you know, because there hasn't been any obvious sorts of differences, you know, for me as a tourist here in China, I can't say, you know, there really is any at this point. Like I say that the prices here in Beijing are very similar to what I saw in like Guangzhou, because you know, they're obviously large cities, so they're going to cost more generally, but nothing has really been that expensive here. Because like, keep in mind, it's like the US that imports 4 times more than China does, right? Like they receive way more product than the China does from the US. So of course it'll hurt their industries here, in the sense that they'll potentially close down factories and not be able to send out as much stuff to the US as before, which can hurt the general population and economy. But that doesn't mean that China can't just like get more other countries to fill in those gaps, right? Like they could just start shipping more out to other countries and give other countries a really good deal. So, you know, not a professional opinion by any stretch, but I think China definitely has the upper hand over the US in terms of the trade war. Like, they literally are the supplier for almost everything and everybody in the world, and they themselves are also a very strong economy. So to be honest, I don't think, you know, it's going to hurt them that much as it is in the US. Like, imagine, you know, all of the things that the US used to get from China if they're all at that rate of over 100% right now, which is ridiculous. The average person is not going to be able to afford that anymore. It's like a lot of people were already like living paycheck to paycheck, and what now? You want to have, you know, smartphones go up 2 to 3 times the price and manufacture them in the US, which is like the dumbest thing, because it's going to cost, you know, it's not going to be the same cost as manufacturing here in China. So I think the whole idea of moving manufacturing to the US, it's never going to happen. It's never going to be that successful, because if it was going to be successful, they would have already done it. So yeah, they, you know, I think they're making a very big mistake by doing this whole trade war. But that's just my opinion. Let me flip the camera as I read your comments here. See her. Oh, so this is interesting. First Last says check Huawei cars. So I was actually going to comment on that when we were in front of Huawei, because inside the mall there is this whole section of the, you know, they got these EV cars, but they didn't say like Huawei brand on the car, but it was in the Huawei shop and it had Huawei chargers. So do they actually produce cars, but they come out as like under a different sort of brand name? Because I was wondering that too. And if so, like, that's wild. That's a big jump from like smartphones to cars. Like, pretty crazy. MF says, how do I get residency in China? I actually don't know for sure, but I think it's a bit of a complicated country for foreigners to actually like gain long-term residency in, from my understanding. Like, unless you get sponsored by a company or you get married to a Chinese person, I think it's actually quite complicated to just decide to move here. And even like opening your own company, I think is quite complicated. So I don't know where these guys are running. Oh, something's going down. Almost always the security guards are just standing around. They never, like, I've never seen anything go down. So, I wonder what happened. Should run with them. See what's up. Steven says exercise. Yeah, maybe they're just going for a jog. Anyways, all right, we're going this way. Thank you so much to Judy Moher. Thank you so much for this super chat. That is so sweet of you. I think I've seen your comments on some of my prior videos and stuff. So thank you so much. Greatly appreciate the support. Very sweet. Let me flip the camera here. They're just like, yeah, see, look, they're just like cleaning the pavement, the pressure washer. It's nice. Over here is something kind of surprising. I mean, there obviously is other churches that I've seen in China and other cities in China. But yeah, look, they have a, I don't know what denomination of Christian church that they have here, but yeah, they have a pretty nice little cathedral here. I'll give you a view in just a second. Oh yeah, because I guess it's Easter Sunday is coming up, right? So makes sense that there's quite a bit going on here. Very nice. Aw, thank you so much, Tune In Jetty. Thank you so much, Dean. Alina, it's pretty epic seeing you back in China. Thank you so much, Dean. Great to see you on the live stream here too. Hope you are having a good weekend. And yeah, it's an interesting experience being back in China. In a weird way, it doesn't feel like it was that long since I was last here, even though it has been almost, it's over a year. Yeah, I was here I think in March last year, so it's been over a year. And Lord knows a lot has happened in a year. But yeah, in a weird way, it feels like I never left. Like when I got back here, it just seemed normal, and I was so much more prepared, you know, coming the second time. Of like, my airport experience, as you guys will see in my vlog, was like way easier than it was in Guangzhou, and it wasn't so, you know, like complicated of like, oh my god, what do I do, and like things not working. Like everything was fine. So, you know, in a way, I feel like China probably will end up being a place that I keep coming back to, just because I have had such a positive experience here. And second of all, you know, it is such a big country, right? Like there's so much to see and do. And as I'm here on this trip, I'm here actually on a press trip with the Embassy of China in Canada. Very surprising that they reached out to me. You know, I keep getting a lot of different offers from like companies here to, you know, come check out their different, you know, districts of the country and all of that. So, you know, why not? I'm definitely interested, and overall I feel very like safe and welcome and surprisingly like relaxed when I'm here in China, even though of course like during their rush hours it gets a little bit hectic. But it's one of the few countries where I can truly like just chill, you know, and I don't feel that way in a lot of places. So it is certainly somewhere I see myself coming back to on the regular. But thank you so much for coming out, Dean. Thank you so much for the very, very generous super chat as always. I see another super chat here from Norman's Investing. Thank you so much. Hi, Alina, great content. How's the food so far? Also a very good question. Thank you, Norman. The food so far here in Beijing is definitely so much easier. Well, maybe it is just like experience, right? Like I've now been in China quite a bit. So maybe I'm just getting better at knowing how and like, you know, where to go. But so far, everything that I've tried here in Beijing has been amazing. Especially their signature dish of Peking duck. You guys will see my in the moment reaction in my vlog of Beijing, but you guys, like, I thought I didn't like duck. Like I actually was not looking forward to eating it, because I was like, I've tried duck, you know, in the past. I really don't like it. It's been like just like rubbery and stuff like that. And that's what I was expecting, you know, even though I know it has like this kind of glazed and like crispy crust or whatever. I know they prepare it totally different than, you know, the kind of duck that we might do in Europe. Like that's the kind of duck that I've had. I've had, you know, in French restaurants, I've had duck. In Ukraine, I've had duck. Disgusting, I'm sorry, in my opinion. It's been really bad. But here, oh my god, I went to a place that like especially specialized in Peking duck. No words, like no words. It was so freaking delicious, and it was just so different because yeah, the way they prepare it, it takes, you know, like 48 hours, and they go through all these like different stages of like refrigeration and then hanging it out, you know, to dry, and then they use a certain specialty oven to like, it's the skin, right, that it gets it a certain way. and it was like incredible. It was so tender, but the outside is like crispy, and they give you all these like cool condiments or whatever to eat with it. It was amazing. So, you know, I guess we can all find foods that we never thought we would like if they are prepared, you know, in a way that we like, was what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so far my food experience here in Beijing has been really, really good. And obviously I like the food scene here because you get the mix, right? It's like, of course, the majority of the food is all Chinese food, but because it's the capital and a cosmopolitan city, you can also find like Western food, which obviously I need. As much as I do like Chinese dishes, I definitely miss like certain Western specialties. So yeah, it's been really nice to be in a city that has both. It's what I'm trying to get at. So thank you so much for the super chat. And another lovely one from Casas World of Music Memories says, when we visited Beijing a few years ago, we enjoyed a restaurant called Duck Soup. Oh, that's interesting. Loved it. Check them out if they are still there. Harriet, Jim, and Yuki. Thank you so much, guys. I will have to, yeah, keep a lookout for that. I wonder if it is still like Peking duck, but in a soup form. That's interesting. All right, you guys have been looking at my face for too long. Let me flip the camera. Just to show you, we like exited, you know, the pedestrian side of Wangfujing, and now we are going to continue to go north, and then we are going to make our way towards the Forbidden Palace. But what I'm curious about is if it's going to be as stupid busy as it was yesterday. Like usually most people enter the Forbidden City on the south point and they exit in the north point, which is good because it's still relatively early in the morning. So I don't think that many people, you know, have made their whole way through it unless they're super fast. So we might be okay to like walk along the outside moat. But yesterday when I was coming out at like 1-2 p.m, you are in like a sea of people. So it's a little bit chaotic in the afternoon. Oh, interesting. Judy says, yes, it's how they prepare the duck. I never liked duck. However, the Balinese smoked duck is truly amazing. They smoke it for 2 or 3 days in a lot of spices, and it tastes like turkey dressing. That is so interesting. I can't say I've been to Bali twice, but I don't think I ever tried duck while I was there. And I didn't because, you know, usually I thought I didn't like duck. But yeah, I'll have to check out Balinese duck next time I'm there. That's awesome. Thank you for the suggestion. Oh, I think we got some kind of senior citizens convention here going on. Oh my God, there's so many of them. I think it's like a tour group. This guy's roping everybody in. All right, I'm gonna have to sneak past them here somehow. All right. Actually, speaking of senior citizens, this is an interesting thing that I always kind of pay attention to when I travel. Is obviously I people watch everybody. I like to kind of look at what all the generations are like in each country, but the senior citizens are always very interesting for me, especially how I feel their like vitality and health is, you know, just from the groups that I see. And it's really interesting here in China. Like I would say that I'd have to check the statistics, but I think they do tend to live, you know, quite well into their older ages. And I think a large part of that is not only diet, because I think on a whole their foods aren't quite as like processed as ours is, and they have probably better portion control than we do in North America. But the main thing I think is the fact that they do tend to stay like really active. Like if you go to Wangfujing at night, there will be at least 5 dance groups or some kind of like exercise groups, and most of them are like, you know, maybe not 80 or something, but like 50s to 70s, I would say, you know, of people just like going out and like, you know, dancing or doing some kind of like workout or something like that. And it's just so nice to see, because not only are they like getting in a workout, but they also, you know, have a community that they're meeting with. And I think, you know, for mental health, it's really important to not be in just like isolation all the time, to kind of have like a group that you belong to. And obviously, you know, family culture is much more tightly knit in Asia on a whole than it is in North America. So yeah, I'd have to check the exact statistics to tell you guys how long, you know, the average man and woman lives here. But just from looking at people on the street, I think they at least appear to be in much better health than people of a similar age in North America. So I think there's definitely some things that we could take from China in that regard. Just wanted to give you guys a view of this really cool art gallery that we will pass on that side in just a little bit. What the hell? Yeah, it's the National Gallery, I believe. And I haven't been inside yet, but I will actually try and go tomorrow, because it is very well reviewed. Oh, I think I missed a super chat. Thank you so much to Joseph. Bianyafan, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Bianyafang was where Peking duck started in the 1400s. Is that a city that I've just never heard of? I actually don't know that name whatsoever. That is awesome. Yeah, it's obviously like Peking duck was originally a favorite of like emperors here in China, and you know, only very wealthy people, I think, were eating Peking duck. But yeah, now it's become somewhat more mainstream in other parts of the world. But obviously here in Beijing, it is like the signature dish. So you can find a lot of like incredible specialty restaurants. And what was interesting is I expected it to be, you know, a bit more expensive, because I know if you go to like, you know, a specialty Chinese restaurant in North America and you order Peking duck, and what I've heard from friends is that it is like very expensive. You know, it's very expensive, you know, because it takes a lot of time to prepare, and you know, our ingredients are just so much more. But yesterday, the restaurant that I went to, it was only like I got a huge platter of Peking duck, like obviously not the whole duck, but you know, a large enough section and all the condiments, and I got a beer, and I got like a veggie dish to accompany it, and it was $20 US. And it was like so fresh, because you know, they're just pumping it out day in and day out. So like for $20 US, I had like amazing Peking duck, whereas I think in other restaurants it would be like so much more if you wanted to order that. So really, really nice. Let me flip the camera here. Look at all the bikes, guys. Like, I know it's a city of 22 million, so like it makes sense, but it's still just crazy to me how many bikes there are. And for those wondering how it works, you see the little QR codes and you see the little symbol here. This is WeChat and this is Alipay, and this is actually Didi. So I guess you could even book this through Didi. So you just open up your scanner on any one of those apps, you scan the code, and then you register however much time you want. Like Alipay, WeChat, it already has all of your details, right? So it's linked to you. If you lose the bike, like they got your passport information, they got everything, and they can deduct the cost of the bike off of your account. So there's no getting away with that. But it also then deducts however much time you use the bike for. So it's super convenient. And as you can see, like I was saying, a lot of people I think are much more active. So you'll see a lot of people biking around, and not that every single street, as far as I've seen in Beijing, has bike lanes, but like a lot of them do. So it's nice that they prioritize people taking that kind of transit. But of course, like main thing as far as transit goes in Beijing, the metro here is incredible. There's actually a metro map that will pass on this left-hand side, so I'll show you guys just how ridiculous the amount of stations is that they have here. So you guys know what a big fan I am of public transit, is why I'm going on and on about this. Actually, Rick, you ask a very good question, and maybe somebody in the comments can answer, because I actually don't know. Could somebody Google it for me? What is the average salary in Beijing? I do not know. So maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. If I had to guess, I would think that it's at least 1,500 US, but I think it's actually more, because like Beijing's cost of living is a lot more than the rest of China. So I would guess that it's actually at least maybe even 2,000 US. Oh, here we go. Raymond Zhang says, in the 2023 Bureau report, the average monthly salary was listed as, $1,590 US, so about $1,600. And let's say, in 2024, 2025, it's gone up. So I don't know, let's put it at 1,800 US or something like that. So yeah, definitely more than like probably the rest of China. But yeah. All would depend, I guess, like where in the city you lived. In the central parts, it would probably be ridiculously expensive and difficult to live on that kind of salary, but probably in the more outer parts of the city, or if you have like two incomes, then it'd probably be much more reasonable. But one important thing to keep in mind is that here in China, they do obviously have really good universal health care. And from actually what a local was telling me the other day, is that their pensions, I guess, are actually quite reasonable. And somebody was telling me that like their mom retired at like 50 years old. That is unheard of in North America, to retire at 50 years old, unless you made a ridiculous amount of, money on your own and could afford to retire at that age. So I found that really, really interesting. But yeah, obviously, I'm sure some people are still like struggling to afford the average things. And, from what I've heard, it's also with the young people in all parts of China, they're having problems trying to find, good paying jobs. So that is still certainly an issue, as it is in many other places. Even more bikes. But what I wanted to show you here is this. Look at this ridiculous map. I don't know if it's more or less stations than Tokyo. I would have to check. But like, look at this. 19 lines, 19 regular lines, and then there's also these extra lines. So let's say, okay, this is an extra one too. So, okay, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29 lines. 29 lines. Like, that is ridiculous. And I took it in the past couple of days, and each trip was 3 yuan, which is like 70 Canadian cents, which is, well, then probably, yeah, about 50 cents American. 50 cents American to go anywhere in the city. So extremely impressive, and yeah, also was very clean. Everything came on time. It is more or less all in English, so you don't have any problems figuring it out, which is great. So very cool, very impressive. Thank you so much for the super chat, Rahul. Thank you so much. Excited for your China series. Hope you have a wonderful Easter Sunday. Oh my God, today is Sunday. I thought it was Saturday for some reason. It's Saturday in North America, right? That's why the people were at the church. Oh, that just struck me. Thank you so much. And yes, happy Easter Sunday, everybody in Asia who celebrates. Oh my God, I thought today was Saturday, I swear. Wow. Thank you so much, Rahul. And yeah, I'm super excited for my China series as well. I don't know exactly how many videos I'll do while I'm here in China. Like, I'm here for only 3 weeks. But I will be filming quite a bit, like especially on the press trip, because we're getting to do some really cool things. So I'm probably going to have at least 6 or 7 videos. I'm going to have, 2 live streams, and I'm going to have, lots of short form content on Instagram and TikTok as well. So it's going to be busy, but yeah, obviously the content I can't release all while I'm here. So it'll be coming out over, both April, May, and even maybe like the first part of June. So it's gonna be a good trip. Thank you so much, Rahul. Very good to see you here. All right, so we are going to make our way down here, but we'll give you one more look here at the beautiful outside of the art gallery. Very unique design of building. And then as you can see attached to it, there's the metro station, National Art Museum station, line 8. You just go underneath and you're in the subway. So very convenient. Oh, that is so interesting. A comment from Rebecca. In Shanghai per month, salary is about 4,000 Canadian dollars. Well, that's very high. That's extremely high, but I guess that would make sense because yeah, if Shanghai is like the main, business city, and they have, all the headquarters of their local and maybe even some international companies, it makes sense that, the wages would scale that high. Obviously, there's plenty of people not making anywhere close to that, but if that's the average, that's actually very high. That's interesting. Doggy says the spas in China are amazing and quite elaborate. It's worth visiting one when you need to recharge. I haven't been to one yet. I would absolutely love to go. I've seen them on TikTok. So maybe with Bianca, her and I are going to spend about a week together and mainly be in Shanghai. So I'm sure there's some really good ones there. So we'll have to go check that out. Just on this other side of the street is another really beautiful, I think, kind of like art gallery. I don't know exactly what the name of it is, but I remember walking past it the other day, and yeah, it looked really cool. So, Beijing really is the place to go for any sort of historical and artistic sort of attractions. They definitely, I think, have the most like museums to see. Probably even more than Shanghai. All right. We've got some other foreigners walking around. Actually, I'm so happy with the temperature right now. I was actually really hot on Wangfujing for some reason, but now it's kind of like cooled down, and it's like the perfect temperature right now. Oh my God, I just realized this. Look at the little statues here. Is that Marilyn Monroe? That's so random. Why do they have like a statue of Marilyn Monroe? It is. Oh. Interesting. And then I think there's another one, but I don't know of who. Oh, is that Michael Jackson, but he looks kind of weird? I don't know. No, Michael Jackson, I mean after he got his nose job and did all the surgery. I think so. Interesting. What's also interesting getting into this area, though I haven't fully explored it, and you know, I feel like showing you guys the Forbidden Palace is Forbidden City, excuse me, is more important. But kind of all around here, there's supposed to be all kinds of Hutongs, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and those are kind of like the older kind of districts in Beijing that have really narrow streets that like people lived. Well, actually, even like right here, you know what? Let's just go down it. Yeah, this is a Hutong. Perfect timing manifested that. Where yeah, it's like these kind of really low level sort of districts where people actually live, but also, you know, they've really transformed them, you know, with restaurants, ni hao, and like, you know, shops and stuff like that. So yeah, they have all these different Hutongs all over Beijing, and they in themselves are like, you know, an attraction worth seeing. Like this right here, it's like a cute little restaurant. And one thing that I wanted to do, but you know, there's just not enough time, is that they had these really good Hutong food tours. Like you can either do a breakfast one where they take you to a whole bunch of different shops, or you can do like a dinner one. So yeah, if you're a big foodie, I think that that would be a really cool thing to do. Aw, thank you so much to my lovely friend Shigeru. Good morning, Alina. Just dropping by to say hi. I gotta head out soon. I'm currently on the road outside of Tokyo, wishing you an amazing time in China, and I'll definitely catch your next live stream. Thank you so much, Shigeru. I really appreciate you coming out, and I'll see you in Tokyo. If you guys didn't watch my last video, I actually announced that not only am I going to China and then UAE on the way back, but I'm going to Japan first part of June, or actually end of May. And so yeah, I'm gonna spend a few days in Tokyo by myself, and then I'm on another brand trip and stuff. So I'm getting to see, you know, some of my favorite places at the start of this year, which is super, super cool. So thank you so much, Shigeru. Hope you have a great weekend. So lovely. All right. Oh, look at this nice park. I actually didn't notice this before. Like, see, I love that, you know, just quiet, like public spaces like this, lots of greenery. Very nice. But we're gonna cross the street up here. This was actually great timing. Got to take you guys through a little part of a Hutong while we were on the live stream. Perfect. And like, to reiterate, like, it is still an area where people live. Like, there's some Hutongs that haven't kind of been turned into tourist attractions. They are still just where people live. But there's like another one down here that I passed before that's like right near the Forbidden City, that it is very much like a tourist attraction. Like, you know, they have kind of souvenir stores and like Western kind of cafes. So it has been kind of turned into a tourist attraction, but other ones people just live in as they did before. And look at all the bikes. All the bikes. Actually, I just thought of another cool thing to tell you guys about. Here's the perfect example. You see the car on the left-hand side that has a blue license plate, and then you see one that has a green license plate right beside it, right? So what's interesting about their license plates here is they all signify different things. Blue means gas car, and if you have a gas car, you are actually limited at how much you can drive, you know, because they're trying to reduce pollution and stuff like that. So you're limited of how much you can drive your blue license plate car. If you have a green car, that means it's an electric car, so you can drive it as much as you want. And I would say that most cars in China as a whole are electric, which is really, really cool. And, you know, they subsidize them here, obviously, so they're really not expensive. Then there's white license plates, which mean diplomatic, or, you know, like very important people, you know, that probably can, you know, just break rules or, like, you know, get the right of way for certain things. And then there is the black license plate, which means foreigner. Which means foreigner, guys. Like, we are not able to drive cars here without outwardly being labeled like, you are not from here, you are not local. And that's actually fine. Because the way that my tour guide at the Great Wall of China was describing it, it's for everybody's safety. Because foreigners tend to, like, not understand how, like, the traffic works that well here. So it's like, you know, you almost like watch out for the foreigners when they're driving. So I found that kind of funny. That, like, yeah, if you come here and you are actually able to get like a license or permission to drive, that, like, you will always, you know, be labeled a foreigner and not be able to get a normal license plate. So I found that to be quite funny. Super chat here from the lovely Nathalie. Thank you so much. So good to see you here. Hi, Alina. I hope you are having a great time in China. It's interesting to learn more about it through your channel. Thank you so much, Nathalie. I really appreciate your support. Hope you are doing good. And yeah, China is, you know, a very interesting country, you know, like it feels like in many ways with globalization happening, we are kind of all becoming very homogenous. And I mean, that's even happening here in China too, is like in every country, it starts to lose its own distinct culture because we have so much global integration, and we have, you know, foreigners from all around the world moving to other, you know, countries. So that obviously has many benefits too, but it's nice to feel the local culture and the traditions and, you know, all the things that make a certain country stand out. And I feel like China is still one of the strongest countries that I've been to as far as their, like, national culture, right? And the way of life being quite different than other places, if I'm getting my point across. So that's one of the big reasons of why I found it to be such an interesting country, is that it really feels like, oh, I am somewhere new. The way they live here is very different than, you know, Bulgaria or Canada. You know, it's very, very different. It's like when I travel anywhere in Europe, it's nice, it's great, it's beautiful places, but, like, am I shocked or am I surprised by anything? Not really. Like, not really. It's not that different. And it's also English friendly, so, you know, it's easy. Whereas here, I have to work at it. And not that I want to, like, work at it all the time, but, you know, once in a while, it's really nice to travel to places that really surprise you, is what I'm trying to say. So thank you so much, Nathalie. Hope you are doing great. Sugar Rush Bandit, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Alina, enjoying the live. Hope you have a fantastic time in China. Eva, thank you so much, Eva. Greatly appreciated. So lovely to have so many kind people on the stream here. It looks like we have 472 people on the stream right now. That is actually kind of crazy. That's amazing. All right, guys, so we are getting closer to the Forbidden City. So let's stay on this side of the street because it's on this side where we can walk right beside it. See, this is a Hutong right here on this right hand side. You can kind of see, you know, like the gray lower level, you know, buildings right there. But look at right on the corner, right? They got Cloud Coffee, they got some kind of restaurant, and, you know, very, very commercialized, but, you know, good because it's also income for that district and local business owners. So plus and minus. Jack asks, does China push electric bike scooters like they do in Australia? Would be good for moving around in cities. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, where was it? I think it was in Guangzhou that it took me so long to like adjust to, yeah, just walking down the street, because I wouldn't hear those damn scooters coming up behind me. So they always would like kind of like scare me, and you really have to watch for them because, you know, electric vehicles or bikes, they're very, very quiet. So that's the one negative. So like, yeah, look at that taxi, right? It has a green license plate, so that means it's electric. So yeah, they definitely are pushing electric vehicles and scooters. You know, like I think they give a subsidy to those companies so people will buy them over like gas cars. So I think that's totally fair. You know, Canada for the longest time pushed electric as well, but they weren't less money than gas vehicles. So for the average person, they were like, well, it's going to take years to, you know, pay off the vehicle, and then, you know, charging, you're still paying for electricity. So, you know, for some people it didn't really make sense. But if the vehicle is like $20,000-$30,000 less than you know, the gas one, then I think people would absolutely purchase them. So I think that's kind of why they've been doing that here in China, is to encourage people to go electric. Oh, I missed, oh Jesus, see, damn scooters. I missed 2 super chats here, or 3 super chats. Oh my goodness, you guys are so kind. First of all, I think maybe, let me just check that that's the first one. Okay, I think I see one, yeah, from David. Thank you so much. This is a super fantastic live stream. Thank you so much, Alina, for showing us around the city of Beijing. It's really marvelous. Enjoy your visit to China. Thank you so much, David. Always appreciate you coming out, and glad you're enjoying the live stream. Rebecca Zhang, thank you so much for the super chat. So sweet of you. Thank you. And Costas World of Music Memories, have you learned a little Chinese words, phrases? Harriet, Jim, and Yuki. I wish I knew more, guys. I really do. You know, it's on my list, as is learning Bulgarian, as is learning Ukrainian. Like, I wish I was a, what's the word, a polyglot, right? That knows multiple languages. But it's really a challenge for me. Like, I really struggle. So I just know the basics. I just know like ni hao and shi shi, you know, thank you. That's it for now. And, you know, I'll be honest, I think Mandarin is an extremely difficult language to learn, because it's not just the words, it's the tonality, right? Because if you say a word even slightly different, it means a totally different thing. So I'm gonna stick with the basics, you know, because I think, like, unless I was spending a lot of time in China, which I guess maybe you never know in the future, but, you know, for the amount of time that I spend now, I don't think it's worth taking on that big of a project. But yeah, I think it's nice to learn like hello, thank you, maybe like yes, no. I actually don't know what yes or no is. And then, you know, just a few other keywords. I think usually that's like a good thing to know before you go to a country. But like, let's be honest, we're not going to learn the language of every single country we visit, or at least I'm not. I can't seem to get onto languages that easily, sadly. My dad says, hey Alina, it's getting late for me. I need to go to bed soon. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Dad. I hope you are doing good. And yeah, thank you to you and Donna Lynn for coming out. So kind. All right, guys, so I'm gonna flip the camera here because we are right beside the moat of the Forbidden City. I'm so excited to show you guys this area. Once again, sadly, we cannot go inside because you need a ticket, and it's also obviously like very busy and like security stuff, especially on a Sunday. Like ideally you don't want to go on the weekends because that's when, you know, the most amount of people will be there. So yeah, 1 second here. So how stunning is this, guys? And it's huge. Like, see, that's the other wall, like way down there. So it is completely walled around. It does have a moat all the way around, and as the name suggests, the Forbidden City, it was very much forbidden for the majority of people to enter the city during the imperial dynasties here in China. And I believe there was 24 different emperors that lived, you know, within the city walls. You know, who was actually able to enter the city was really only their own family, very high up, like, you know, like people in, I guess, the military, and, you know, different kinds of scholars, just basically anybody that the emperor approved, as well as, I guess, a crazy amount of concubines that every emperor had. Like my tour guide was saying that, because when they asked, well, how many like concubines did an emperor have? Apparently 78 was the lowest number. Can you imagine having 78 semi-girlfriends? I feel like that's a bit ridiculous. That's a bit too much. Like, there's what, 360, shit, how many days is there in a year, guys? My brain is not working. Like, you would literally only see, if you were actually splitting up your time properly, you would only see like each one of your girlfriends maybe like 3 times a year. So I don't quite know why they were going that intense with it. But basically, yeah, they had a bunch of concubines, and the emperor would have a bunch of children because they then wanted to see like who would be his successor, who would be the best option. And then the sad part kind of is that the concubines, and I guess maybe even a lot of his family, obviously like the woman who was like the queen as well, or empress, I should say, they were not allowed to leave the city walls. So it wasn't just forbidden that nobody could get in. It's that a lot of times, especially for the women, they couldn't get out, right? Because like the emperor wanted to guarantee that like the concubines or the empress or whatever, they weren't pregnant with somebody else's baby, that they were for sure his. So they weren't allowed to leave. And any sort of men that like worked, you know, that were just laborers or whatever in the Forbidden City, they, I guess, had to have like their balls chopped off so that they couldn't impregnate a woman. I think there's like a specific name for those kinds of men. So kind of messed up. Like, I know there's a bunch of things in history that we look back on and are like, oh, that's messed up. That's definitely on the list, right? Pretty crazy. So that's fun facts about the Forbidden City. And it is, from my understanding, the largest like palace complex in the world. And it was said that there was 9,999 different rooms, because there's like so many different halls. When you go in, it's not just like, okay, one big palace, but it's like a bunch of like mini palaces within it. And it said that there was 9,999 rooms, but in actuality it is said that there's only about like 8,900, so almost 9,000 rooms, which is still ridiculous. Like, how long would it take you to, like, you know, stay overnight in 9,000 rooms? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. So, oh, somebody said the term that I was looking for of, yeah, like when they chop the balls off, eunuch or whatever was the term. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, just to reiterate, because somebody mentioned it in the comments. So yeah, so this is the north gate of the Forbidden City. You go all the way through, that's the south gate. And then on the other side is Tiananmen Square, which, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, there was obviously some terrible things that happened in that square. So yeah, that's on the other side of the Forbidden City. Rick says easier to get a vasectomy. I don't think they had that back in Imperial China, but I agree. It would have been a lot better to just get vasectomies for all the workers there. I love reading your guys' comments. They are funny. Oh my goodness. Just wanted to say hi to Alex, Reportify Media and Travel, in the comments. Thank you so much. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to come to Chongqing this time, guys. I would have messaged you if I would have, had more time. But unfortunately, I'm just here for a press trip. And then I'm seeing my friend Bianca in Shanghai. And then I'm off again. But next time in China, hopefully I'll be able to come down to Chongqing again and we can all hang out. So hope you guys are doing good. That's great. All right, guys, look at the crowds here coming out. Or actually, can you see them kind of on the bridge in front? It looks like we already have a lot of foot traffic going on, though maybe you can enter from the north side as well. I thought everybody had to enter through the south and come out the north, but maybe you can actually enter the opposite way around as well. That would make more sense, because it's still only about, what is it, it's 10:20 a.m. and I think the Forbidden City opens at like 8 or 8:30 or something, so it'd be pretty early for people to be exiting. So I think the scenario is probably that you can enter on this side as well, and I didn't know that. Oh, 1 second. Oh, I just had a weird kind of freeze on my screen, but we are back. Rick says, would be great if we could travel with Alina somewhere in the world as a group tour kind of thing. You know, it would be cool. And I am considering doing something like that in the future, because I have been reached out to by a few different like tour companies, I guess they could say. And it's a common thing of like, you know, an influencer-led trip, even though I don't like the term. Yeah, I would consider it, but it would really have to be with the right company. And the companies that have reached out to me to create something like that, I just really didn't trust. And I'm not sure it would be the kind of trip that I would want to take you guys on. While at the same time, like, to plan one all on my own and to take care of like people's deposits and to book hotels, like that would be way too much for me to take on by myself. I definitely would need to partner with a tour agency to do that, but I just haven't found one that I really like and trust, you know, to do that with. But if I do in the future, I will definitely let you guys know, and I think that would be something really cool to do. I'm just gonna flip the camera here because, like, look how busy we're getting here. Look at them, they're all so cute in their little orange hats. That's how you know, like, this is my group, right? Though I guess you'd have to remember which bus you're on, right? because I think they got like 4 different buses. It's an enormous group. But yeah, these like Chinese tours, they don't play around. They literally will have like a group of 100, 200 people. It's just wild. Like in the West, you know, we're very common, like, you know, if you're going on a vacation, maybe you just like go with friends or go with family, or like, you know, it's even way more common for us to go by ourselves, right? Whereas here in China, I think the majority of people always go on a group trip. Like very rarely will anybody just go to a country by themselves, not on a tour. Most of them almost always travel in groups, which I find so interesting. It's just a different, like, you know, culture mentality, I guess. Yeah, and like look at the amount of people coming out of the Forbidden City. The one thing that sucks, but that, you know, makes sense of why they did it, is that I think about, well, before COVID probably, you used to be able to go into some of the buildings. Like there's a lot of really beautiful buildings, obviously, within the city walls. But now, because there is just so many tourists and it gets so congested in there, they stopped allowing people going inside because the lines would just be ridiculous. Like the lines are already insane to get in. It'd be insane within the palace. Like they would have to throttle, you know, how many people go in each day if they were going to do that. So yeah, you're actually not allowed to go into any of the buildings in the city. You can kind of just walk in the outside sort of courtyards, which is still nice. Like it's still beautiful, but obviously it would be a totally different experience if you were able to actually go inside. Let me jump up on here. Yeah, and especially like Sundays, right? Like Sundays are gonna be the busiest day to go. I would not recommend doing that unless you had no other day that you could go. Let's take a look here. Oh my God. It looks so, actually no, see, I thought so. No, I don't think you can enter here. Look, nobody's going in. It's only out. But look at like the enormous groups they have in there. Like that's obscene. Wow. Let me just stand farther back. That is crazy. Yeah, that's just the exit. Wow. Imagine losing your group. Like I guess that's why they have the flags. But yeah. Wow. Wild. Okay, so my small town in Canada, right? I grew up in a town of 700 people in Canada. That square right there is the amount of people in my whole town. Oh, that's crazy. All right. Let's just get to a slightly quieter part of the wall here. I'll give you guys one more look, and then I think that will actually bring us to the end of this fabulous live stream, because we've already been going for about an hour and a half, and this was the majority of things that I wanted to show you guys here in Beijing. Of course, there's many other places, but it's kind of tricky because, as I said, lots of places you do have to have a reservation or, like, you know, wait in line for a long time to get into. So, or walk for a really, really long time from here. So I think this is kind of, you know, the main sites I was able to show you easily on foot. And once I'm settled in Beijing, or once I'm settled in Shanghai in a couple of weeks, then I will do an evening live stream from there. 1 second. yeah, I'll do an evening live stream from there, meaning that it will be very early morning in North America is how it kind of will have to work. But I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I hope it gave you some idea of what life in China is like here and what Beijing is like as a city. I'm obviously a very big fan, and I'm super excited with all the different places I'm going to be going on this trip. I hope that the content I make you guys will find interesting, and it may inspire you to do your own visit. So if you guys have, like, you know, any suggestions or any kind of, you know, questions about China, just comment in, you know, my upcoming videos and stuff, and I'll keep it in mind for future trips. But thank you all so much for coming out. Happy Easter Sunday to anybody who celebrates. And as always, I am sending you so much love. Keep being your own kind of beautiful. 谢谢。